Friends, now we are going to start the topic section 194Q, that is TDS on purchase of goods. This topic was introduced by the Finance Act 2021. Friends, this is a newly inserted section. These provisions are applicable from 1st July 2021 onwards. Very important topic for exam point of view and most important the practical career also. Very important topic, section 194Q. So generally purchase of goods, I repeat, purchase of goods not subject to TDS. No TDS is applicable. I already covered the topic called as section 194C. In 194C I clearly mentioned that all contracts are covered but purchase contracts are not covered. I told you, right? But today Government of India introduced one new section called as section 194Q. This is nothing but TDS on purchase of goods. Now this is a newly inserted provision. Very important provision, please follow. As for this provision is concerned, there are two parties. First one is called as buyer and the second one is called as seller. Take it for granted, the buyer means the person whose last year turnover, I repeat, whose last year turnover exceeds specific limit. I repeat, exceeds specific limit. As of now, the specific limit is 10 crores. So those persons whose last year turnover is exceeding 10 crores, that kind of buyer, whatever the goods is purchasing from the seller, I repeat, whatever the goods is purchasing from the seller, if the value of goods exceeding 50 lakh, I repeat, the value of goods exceeds 50 lakh, don't worry, the excess amount is only taxable. I repeat, excess amount is subject to TDS at the rate of 0.1%. That's all. This is the topic. That too, here the TDS rate is very nominal. 0.1% of the transaction value over and above 50 lakh is only subject to TDS. I will take one illustration. One company called as A Limited. So A Limited is purchasing the goods from S Partnership Firm. In that case, the value of goods 30 lakh per annum. Now, whatever the total purchase made during the year 30 lakhs. Sorry, sir, it is not subject to TDS. Suppose the value of goods purchased is 40 lakh per annum. It is also not subject to TDS. The value of goods, let us say 55 lakhs. Yes, over and above 50 lakh, whatever the amount, that amount is only subject to TDS. Here 55 lakh minus 50 lakh, the balance 5 lakh is only subject to TDS at the rate of 0.1%. I repeat, 0.1% simply. Suppose if the payee, that means the seller, has not furnished his PAN details, PAN particulars, then the rate would be 5%. I repeat, rate would be 5%. So simply this is the topic with respect to section 194Q is concerned. So I want to discuss in detail, please follow. Number one, first topic, payer. Friends, payer means the person who is making the payment. Here none other than buyer, right? Okay. Now the buyer is nothing but all of you. Any person being a buyer who is responsible for paying any sum to the seller. So simply the person who is purchasing the goods, everybody is covered. Okay, chalo. Next one, payee. Payee means the person who is recipient of the income. That is nothing but simply seller. Friends, every seller is not covered. Only resident SSC is only covered. I repeat, resident SSC. Non-residents are not covered. Only residents only covered in this concept. And next one, friends, nature of payment. Very simple point here. Payment of any sum to the seller for the purchase of goods, including capital asset also covered. I repeat, including capital goods, everything is covered. Whether it is a normal goods or capital goods, everything is covered. But one thing for sure, immovable property is not covered. For point number one, immovable property is not considered as a good. That is one point. And second point, immovable properties are covered under section 194 IA. Therefore, purchase of any goods only covered, including capital goods. But take it for granted, purchase of immovable property is subject to TDS under section 194 IA, but not covered under section 194 M. Next one friends, exemption limit. The overall exemption limit per year is 50 lakhs. If up to 50 lakh, there is no question of TDS. If the payment exceeds 50 lakh, yes, it is subject to TDS. The two friends, the 50 lakh exemption limit like a basic exemption limit or else like a threshold limit. Any purchases made over and above 50 lakh, the excess amount is only subject to TDS. For example, one company called as A Limited purchased the goods from the S Limited. Now, for example, 60 lakh worth of goods they purchased. Out of 60 lakh, we can reduce 50 lakh and balance 10 lakh only subject to TDS. Okay. And next point, ma'am, applicability of this provision section 194Q. The provision is applicable with effect from 1st July 2021. I repeat, 1st July 2021 onwards. And the rate of TDS, that is 0.1%, is only applicable, 0.1%. And next one, if PAN number is not furnished, the payee's PAN number details are not furnished, then the rate would be 5%. I repeat, 5%. So simply it is better to submit the PAN details by the payee. Okay, chalo. And next one friends, the rate of TDS shall be applied on purchases value exceeding 50 lakhs. That means the value on which TDS shall be charged is nothing but the sum left after deducting 50 lakh from the total value. That means I have given the formula wise, the value on which TDS shall be charged is equal to total value of purchases minus 50 lakh. So over and above 50 lakh, whatever the excess amount of purchases, on that only TDS applicable. So I would like to tell you, I purchased for 65 lakh. Out of that 50 lakh overall deduction, the balance 15 lakh is only subject to TDS. Okay, chalo. And next point friends, time of deduction, as normal as that, at the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is earlier. All of you please follow. Earlier of the following. Number one, at the time of payment by any mode, whether cash mode or check mode or bank mode, any mode. So at the time of payment of the consideration, or else at the time of credit of such sum to the account of the seller, whichever is earlier. Out of these two things, payment or credit of the particular seller's account, whichever is earlier, at the time only tax should be deducted. Indirectly it is the meaning that whether you paid the amount or not, that is immaterial. Even though you have not paid, simply we need to credit the seller's account. Correct now? For the closure of the books, compulsory we need to pass the entry. We need to credit the seller's account. So moral of the story, even though you have not paid, at least at the time of credit of seller's account, we need to deduct the tax at source. Fine. This is the time of deduction. And whereas all of you, now the conditions are as follows. Condition number one, this is applicable with respect to purchase of goods. The goods may be capital goods or any other goods. And one more thing, in case of purchase of goods from resident seller only covered. I repeat, resident seller only covered. And that too, the goods purchase value must be more than 50 lakh. The aggregate value of purchases during the year from the resident seller must exceed 50 lakh. In that case, the excess amount is only taxable. And the last one, what is the meaning of buyer? Friends, follow. Buyer means a person whose total in turnover or else whose gross receipts from the business exceeds 10 crore during the financial year immediately preceding to the financial year in which the goods are purchased. For example, now we are in the year 2022-23, all of you. So last year we need to check their turnover. So last year turnover 21-22 turnover, let us say all of you 40 crores. Yes, it is more than 10 crores, then only that person is required to deduct TDS. Or else if the person's last year turnover, let us say 5 crores, yes sir, in that case, even though the purchase value is more than 50 lakh, there is no question of TDS. Okay, chalo. And next point, central government may notify certain group of persons who are required to deduct TDS. But fortunately, as of now, central government has not notified any set of group of persons names. So this is another point. So simply I would like to tell you, the buyer is nothing but whose last year turnover or gross receipts exceeds 10 crores. I repeat, exceeds 10 crores. In that case only that particular person is required to deduct tax at source. If last year's turnover is less than 10 crore, that person is not at all required to deduct TDS. So please be careful. Any person who is the selling the goods to someone else, if you are selling to big shots, that to that person's last year turnover exceeds 10 crore, automatically whatever your purchase value is subject to TDS, provided the total value of supplies made by you during the year exceeds 50 lakh. The aggregate value of purchase consideration is exceeding 50 lakh. In that case, over and above 50 lakh, whatever the excess amount is subject to TDS at the rate of 0.1%. If the seller not furnish the PAN details, then the rate would be simply 5%. Next point, what is the role of seller as well as role of buyer? Now let's start the topic buyer. Buyer is nothing but a payer, right? So friends, the payer is required to deduct TDS and required to remit the TDS portion to government. So deduct and remit the tax portion to the government. That is simply role of the buyer. Whereas role of the supplier, that means role of the seller, is nothing but obtain declaration from the buyer in this regard. So whatever the TDS certificate, he can get it out from the same buyer. Okay, chalo. So this is the responsibility of the buyer as well as the seller. Friends, this is the concept with respect to section 194Q. These are purchases are subject to TDS. Okay, chalo. So the due date for depositing of TDS is as simple as that. Every month, generally in case of every month, on or before 7th of the next month. Whereas in case of last month, March month, we need to pay the amount on or before 30th April. So just on or before 30th April of the next year, we need to remit the portion to the government. So friends, now my previous year 2020-22-23, so whatever the month, I need to remit the tax portion in the next month on or before 7th of the next month. Whereas with respect to March month, we need to remit the same on or before 30th April of the next year. Okay, chalo. But one thing for sure, in case of importation of goods, no kind of TDS is required to be deducted, because the provisions of section 194Q are only applicable if you purchase the goods. If you purchase the goods only from the resident person, resident seller supplies the goods, then only it is subject to TDS. But in case of importation of goods, it is not like that. Therefore, no TDS is applicable with respect to importation of goods, because this section is purely applicable in case of purchase made from a resident seller. Therefore, importation of goods are not subject to TDS. Okay, chalo. And the last point, all of you, the provisions of this section, that means 194Q shall not applicable in the following cases. I repeat, 194Q is not applicable in the following cases. Number one, if tax is deducted any other section. Friends, if the TDS already deducted under any other section, automatically 194Q is not applicable. For example, all of you please follow. Suppose section 194C TDS is applicable. For example, take it for granted, automatically 194Q is not applicable. So other TDS provisions will prevail over the 194Q. So other TDS provisions always will prevail over TDS section covered under section 194Q. So that means if tax has been deducted under any other sections, automatically 194Q TDS is not at all applicable. Okay, see the point. This implies that in case TDS applicable on a transaction under some different section, then automatically TDS under section 194Q is not at all applicable. Okay, chalo. Same way for TCS also. If TCS provisions are applicable on particular transaction, automatically 194Q provisions are not applicable. I repeat, if TCS is covered under any other transaction, automatically for the same transaction TDS under section 194Q is not applicable. So I would like to tell you one word: when there is a conflict of TDS under section 194Q, automatically other TDS provisions only will prevail. And same way, whenever there is a conflict between TCS versus 194Q, automatically other TCS provisions only will prevail. Simply, if any particular transaction is subject to TCS, then take it for granted the same transaction is not subject to TDS under section 194Q. Okay, chalo. But here one important point is there, that is nothing but TCS under section 206C subsection 1H. I repeat, 206C subsection 1H. So friends, take it for granted, if any particular transaction is covered under TCS under section 206C subsection 1H, automatically 194Q is prevail. So that means the TCS under section 206C subsection 1H we should not follow. We need to follow the provisions of section 194Q. So these are the topics with respect to difference of opinion between the provisions of section 194Q as well as other TDS provisions as well as other TCS provisions. So I wanted to give one clarity here. If TDS is covered, I repeat, if TDS is covered under other sections, then automatically 194Q not applicable. Okay, chalo. And same way, if TCS is covered, take it for granted 194Q is not applicable. And same way, if TCS is covered under section 206C subsection 1H, automatically that provisions we no need to follow. We need to follow the provisions of section 194Q. So that's all. This is the TDS provisions with respect to section 194Q is concerned. Okay.